Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of Market Leader Live. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren and Palmer. I'm excited to be with you where I get the honor and the privilege to interview titans of industry. Hey, I got a double dip for you today. I got my girl Ashley and my man James Reece in the building. Say hello to everyone, Ashley and James.
Hello, how
Hello.
y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Awesome, awesome. Well, we see the banner in the back, and we're about to go deeper into that. But if you don't mind, could y'all take time just to share a little bit about you all and what y'all do?
We are Family First Counseling Center. We are mental health therapist providers. We target populations including families, children, parents who are suffering or experiencing anxiety, depression. A lot of our clients are in foster care or the foster care system working with CPS in some way. So we just try to come in and help them out.
Well, I appreciate you all sharing that because, definitely that's an industry that some are saying that, hey, I just had a call literally this past weekend on that, as far as people saying that they need help in that area. People are finding issues, loopholes. If someone want to have a child, they find an issue there. If somebody doesn't need to have a child, they find that issue. They find that issue too as well. But if y'all don't mind, share a little bit too. How did y'all even get into this industry?
We started this issue. We got into this industry because basically our childhood. We both grew up in, not so good area, private areas. And as we got older and got more educated, we started to reflect on our childhood. And we kind of noticed that there was a big gap with mental health. There's a big stigma about mental health and with Black people in the community. Everybody run to the church. Church was our counseling back then. But to actually receive professional help is a whole nother ballpark. Not saying church is not professional help, because you do have, church therapists, ministers out there. But to understand your mental health is a big component of satisfying your whole body. So we decided to join business together, me and my wife and I. She's a licensed professional counselor. I have my MBA, and we took the business degree and we took the certification and joined it together and just made a force with it to reach back out to our community.
Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. There's a few things there that Ashley and James has shared with us that I want for those who are paying attention to this to pick up on. For one, I have a saying, James, or your pain is your product. That don't waste your pain. And I think so many of us have been duped, or misguided on, I need to just get completely away from that. Don't mean that you need to stay in that state, but actually you went through that for a reason. So if you learn something from it, don't just waste it or throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. Pour into somebody else. Open the door so someone else don't have to go through that. Or if they find themselves in that same situation, you have some steps that are tangible that's able to help assist them get out of that situation. And so I think it's brilliant for you all to be able to do that. And also, and there's no harm, but we got to deal with this. We got to deal with counseling, especially in our communities.
Yes.
Understand that it's the way of dealing with it when it comes with mental health. That doesn't mean that you think about your crazy Uncle Joe, you're throwing those type of terms out there. So if you need counseling, you put a negative connotation behind it, but it's actually a limited belief for those who are listening out there. So even though it might be that I'm being comical with it, it's a serious matter because it could easily be taken care of if it was addressed. Just like if you find something, and let's say if you go to the Mayo Clinic, if they would have found that spot on your lung a little earlier, if they would have been able to address a valve that was closed or something, they could be able to make a procedure to allow for you to have a better quality of life. It's the same issue when it comes to mental health when you look at it. But if you don't address it and you allow for it to progress, it's just like any other disease or anything that's deadly to you or toxic, it'll come back to hunt you or whatnot. And for those out there, please believe me, I got to say this. James Ashley can't say this to y'all, but I'm going to say it because I'm not in their shoes. We have to stop just telling people you can do it, but we're going to have to do more than that. I'm praying for you.
Yes.
That
I
is
like
not.
that analogy that you had. I like the analogy you had to have you related to the medical, but mental, it can drive you through a generational curse.
Yeah.
And so it just don't affect you and your body, but what you probably learned from your mom and your dad or whoever raised you. And it can be negative, and sometimes it can be positive. The positive, good things to keep going, but the negative things that you may be doing, you do it to your children. Your children see that they do it to their children. So something has to break. That chain has to be broken, and if we don't address those mental health issues, it's gonna go for generations.
Actually, you have any thoughts on that? I see you older. I see you going, girl. I think you can let that in.
It's the truth. It's all the truth. It's generational curses that we can break, that can be broken. If in life you need therapy, and sometimes we think it's just for that crazy person or just for that hurting person, but even just trying to adjust to a new job, moving to a new place, having a baby, losing somebody, we all experience death or experiencing COVID. This is something new to everybody. Everybody can benefit from a counseling session. It doesn't mean you have to be in there for the rest of your life, but it won't hurt. You can pray about it and talk to a professional about it as well.
Amen, amen, and amen. You know, you got to make sure you're able to do that. And, you know, even what you just brought up far as that, you know, me and my wife with our youngest son, Zion, he's 5 now, he'll be 6 in October. But we experienced that when we look back through a time in our marriage, but we realized that she was going through some stuff. Even though we had other kids, she thought she was above that. But when we look back during that season, it was some issues she was having after she had the youngest child or whatnot, that caused some issues in our marriage or whatnot, because we didn't identify with it. We didn't, you know, now hindsight is 20/20 vision, but we had some struggles where we had to seek out counseling on or whatnot, and seek out people that could give us wisdom on what we was going through. But really it stemmed from back there or whatnot. So that's why I'm just sharing with this, that it's not a joke what Ashley and James are sharing with us, especially in this pandemic situation that we've been in. No matter where you are, some people are still on lockdown. You know, Texas is a little bit more open than others, but still you're dealing with challenges, whether being furloughed, not seeing or a loved one in a hospital, and you can't even go and see them. So there's some things that we're dealing with. So don't take it as a joke when we're talking about seek the counseling that you need, because it can actually be the difference, not for just life and death, but also generation. And I got to bring up some, James, that you alluded to earlier. That I had a friend of mine that he had some things with some men, and he was talking about your identity. You know, start questioning why you do certain things that you do, or why you say things that you do. You have assumed that is you, but it's not even you.
No.
But you don't even know that it's not you. You think that's who you are, but you done heard it. I remember, and I'm just going to share this quickly because this goes right with what James was sharing. I had with my oldest boy, he had did something in the room. He was being petty with his brother or something. And I went there and I knew he halfway did the job. And I don't do too good with halfway doing the job. So, you know, and I was like, man, you know, you did something. And I said something to him, and I was like, and then I thought about it. My wife said, you know what? You could have handled that better, what you said. I know he was doing it, but you really could have handled that better. And no, I'm like, oh Lord, here she come trying to tell me what to do. Then I had to have a moment where I sat there in bed with her, and I said, you know what? You're right about that. And I had heard a thing. I said, you know, really that wasn't me. James, it went back to something that my stepdaddy back in the day had told me when I was young. It wasn't even me. I thought about that. I said, man, that's what my stepdad said to me one time before. Yeah. And in my subconscious, you know, James and Ashley, I done just shared that. Even though I'm like, dang, that's how deep this thing can go. Yeah. If you don't have behavior, you can pass. It's a learned behavior. Because I'll talk about that a little bit. What are some things people can do to have more of awareness of what they're doing, or at least start getting some steps on getting to a counseling or doing some things that can rectify the situation they're going through?
It broke up a little bit. I heard you say, in order to get awareness, I think it's like you said, you have to be, number one, willing to listen to other people. Sometimes we don't know what's going on around us, but if we look at how people respond when we say and do things, then we'll get an okay, that didn't make them feel happy. What did I say? What did I do? And we can start to self-reflect by looking at the others around us.
That's good. That's good. I got a question too. Like, so say for instance, if someone was looking to connect with you all, like how could they reach out to you?
You can go to our website, which is www.familyfirstcounseling.com, and that's family1stcounseling.com. You can reach us on Instagram or Facebook. We are on all those social medias, or you can give us a call, 832-602-5023. And we'll try to direct. Say again?
No, I said I just wanted to put that out there for people, and we're going to have the information in the show notes. The episode isn't over, but I just felt right there that I know that somebody's thinking like, man, I really need help. I think, I'm hearing with Ashley and James and Sharon. I'm hearing even with Darren's story. It's some things that I know that our family is going through for somebody who's listening to this, or it might be you just personally. So, I just wanted to give that right information. So even if they're not able to work with you, they're able to at least point you in the right direction or give you some literature, some steps that you need to take to help you get there.
Yes.
So, I do got to go to this because this is the other point that I didn't bring up. I know some people are thinking like, Lord, I know they're dealing with counseling, but how in the world are they working together and they spouse? So I had to say it for somebody who was out there. I had to go there. I know they're doing counseling now. It was real smooth with the MBA and the business part, and she does this part, and it makes sense. But sometimes water and oil don't mix. So talk to them, because I work with my wife as well. So I want y'all to share, how have y'all been able to make this partnership work?
I think I have to admit, it was kind of rough at times, because I'm thinking I'm the therapist. I know everything. But it came to a point where we really just sat down and said, okay, this is your role and this is your role. But at the end of the day, if you need help with either of the roles, we are here to help each other. But if it's something that comes up, if it's in his lane, that's your lane. I'll give it to you. And if it's in my lane, you give it to me.
Separations of roles, that was real key. Communication. Another big thing, just communicate with one another, staying on the same level, inquiring about what she do, because I'm not a licensed professional counselor. So what I need to know, I asked her for it. So I don't mind going to her and I'm asking probing questions. I let her know where I'm going, so it don't look like I'm just bugging you, but I'm asking her probing questions so I can know. Because I deal with all the straight business portion of the business. I let her handle the therapist, and that's on our team, and all that counts. That's on you. Everything else, business-wise, that's on me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Sometimes you just gotta, keep it simple, whatnot, and just, define those roles. I think that's very important, and also being able to not allow for it to lap over into home. So that's another thing for those who are listening to this, is that's why we wanted to have, Ashley and James on as well, just to understand the importance. You can do this. It can, but like you said, communication runs the nation. Make it clear on your goals. But it's just like if you was in any other partnership. If one of you or all of you trying to do the books at the same time, one person it won't work. One person trying to do all the marketing, so you just have to be clear. Okay, hey, you might be more introverted, or you might do this better, or this is your wheelhouse, or this is your strength. That's the power of partnership and collaboration or whatnot. And so I want to also go to this because we had this in common as well. So let's just talk about a little bit of being able to deal with the kids, because you all are amazing parents. So it's not just you just running business and y'all going home and it's just you two and you going home too or whatnot. So can you talk about that dynamics of balancing or whatnot, or just being able to position yourself to play these different roles that y'all have?
I think we both desire to have maybe me more so than him, both desire to have the children with us. So when it comes to the business, we try to keep in mind, do we have space for them to be with us? We like for them to see what we're doing. So it's a joy to have them around. I'm the more calmer one with them when I'm working and they're being distracted. And he's like, look, y'all need something else to do. But just having them around is a joy. So it's a blessing to spend time with your children. You never know when the last day is going to be. And when they're not with you, somebody else is influencing them. So I'd rather them be with us, around us, seeing what we're doing, letting us love on them and they love on us.
Yeah. I would say it's bittersweet. I guess I gotta be on phone calls and I'm dealing with, contracts, looking at wording and or makes a big difference when you come into a contract. So I'm trying to be detailed on what's going on. I have my kids in the other room knocking against the wall or something like that. So it's kind of crazy. But our kids have been with us through all of our journeys, all our business adventures that we have going on, but they have been with us from the groundwork, seeing me late at night painting, moving furniture, creating signs, doing marketing. So they actually start asking about what we're doing. And so they are from 12-year-old all the way down to one and one about to be born. So we have 5 children living, about to have 6. So, but they see the business mindset that we do have. And that's one thing I do enjoy about it. That they see working parents and not just getting up, putting the suit on, going to clock in for someone else. They see us putting in work for ourselves to provide for the home.
So just like we can pass down generational curses, we can pass down generational wealth and knowledge too. So It's important to have them here.
Yeah. I'm telling y'all got this episode like Campbell soup, y'all. It's good. Good. I had to put myself on mute. I kept going and they try to cut all this out when I'm listening to it. I mean, whoa, what a wealth of knowledge for those who are listening. I tell you, I had to have them on because I'm in total agreement with that. Those are the things. It's the generational blessings as well that you can pass on. Whether it's the wealth, them seeing, intimacy of this love for one another and sharing through work, encouraging one another, being able to work through, an obstacle. That's good too. The troubleshooting or whatnot and problem solving. You got to have that real life. And so for those who are listening, especially business owners, everyone don't really understand our lives. So you got to make sure. That's why I wanted Ashley and James to be on, because you got to be careful. People can mean well, but at the same time, do they understand entrepreneurship? Because it's not the same, not knocking anybody, but it's not the same as somebody who think like James shared painting late at night. Now, if somebody thinks James supposed to be at home at 4:30 and not do anything after that time frame, it's seasons for that. I'm not saying it's every day, but it's seasons for different things. So, but if you just act like that couldn't ever be done, or it won't ever be a contract conversation that someone need to be quiet, and I think it creates a cohesiveness where the family starts seeing like, hey, we're doing this together. Like, hey, y'all be quiet. Dad on the phone. Or, hey, mama got a client, And so it's more of an understanding of whatnot. And even with our children, just to share what y'all had, and that's why I wanted y'all to be able to put on. I encouraged them like a week ago on a business trip that we went on, and we just rented an Airbnb out because I told them, like, you're going to learn more on this trip connecting with these other families who are like ours, who we going to support, because they was able to kick it with other kids and their parents, all of them were entrepreneurial. They came from different places, and so they learn and they're building their network.
Yes.
And so too, that I want those who are listening on Market Leader Live, yes, they know the business. Yes, they teaching about counseling, but they also are being an example in their own households. So don't limit or think that it's bad because dad is taking care of a contract or mama is meeting with a client. No. More is caught than taught. So when they're looking at this, they are observing like, okay, I can create the opportunities I want. I don't have to wait on somebody to say they're going to give me a seat at the table. I can build my own table. And so I love that y'all are doing that. Do y'all have anything else to share to families out there when it comes to partnering together and bringing the family together as a unit so your kids can experience that?
First thing I can say, you are the first role model for your child. Just period. I don't care about celebrities being out there, how big their names are, how much money they make. You are the first example for your child. And if you're not setting a good example for your child, then everything is on you. That's it. I'm just be real with it.
Come on, Ashley, what's your thoughts, girl?
My thoughts are, one thing that's important to remember, that children are children and they're going to be children. So even though, like you said, I'm in a therapy session and I need them to be quiet, I need them not to open that door, I can't go off and yell at them for being kids or accidents happening while we are away. So I'll still allow them to be kids, even though we're teaching them, I need you to step your game up. I need you to be a little bit more mature while I'm doing this or while daddy's doing that. At the end of the day, they're still kids. And like you said, they're still learning, more so when we're not teaching them and not giving them that direct interaction. So they're looking, they're learning, and just enjoy every moment with your family, period.
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, actually, I think you and my wife get along like her. That sounds like a lot of humility right there. I think, boy, if that wasn't my wife, if that wasn't Stephanie Palmer with that little, well, you know, kids gonna be kids. Looking at me over there, because I'm sitting there like, Lord, y'all know I had to do this call, and here y'all kids gonna be kids. So yeah, that's something we just got to keep in mind when we look at that for those who are there. So I want just to explore that and share that, and also. A unique thing too is I see that y'all actually even currently working on a few things that'll be released here after a while. But I want to share too about the component of the extended family, having a modern day somewhat Brady bunch or whatnot. You know, if you don't mind, share that. We had that same kind of experience with our family as well. And so I just want to just kind of see, how have y'all been able to navigate those waters or whatnot when it comes to bringing the family together?
Whew, it's a tough road, especially depending on the other parent. It's a very tough road, and you just get to a place in your heart that it's about the child, how the child is going to be viewed, and so you always want to remember being that role model for that child, no matter what's going on between the separate households or what may be going on different. You still have to instill into that child good positive things in life, good life lessons. And that's my oldest son. So I sit down, I try to have conversations with him, and I talk to him, explain what's going on. I've been explaining what's going on to him the whole time, I've been separated from his mother. So I want him to understand there's nothing that you did at all. This is something that, parents end up talking about, and we went our separate ways. But unfortunately, you was the one that was kind of left in the middle. But I don't want you to feel like that, especially when you come to this household. You have a mother, you have a father at this household. We're going to all treat you the same. It's not going to be anything different.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Ashley, you got any thoughts on that?
I just say, as a therapist, do your best to instill. I don't know if I can go here, but I'm gonna try.
Go ahead.
So in Texas, the first, third, and fifth weekend visitation, I think, is not sufficient for you to truly spend time with your child and instill those values that you want, especially if you and the other parent do not uphold the same values and beliefs. That can be very difficult. So just do your best to spend time with your child, instill what you can, love them. And what we are learning is parenting does not end at 18. Even though our children are not 18, we're already talking about it. It's not going to end at 18. So there is still some hope if you're struggling with, because we struggle with, like, we don't get to see him a lot. His siblings don't get to see him a lot. He misses birthday parties. He misses family events. He doesn't get to celebrate the holidays how we would celebrate them traditionally. So just spend as much time with them as you can, and know that after 18, parenting still exists. So there's still hope, and you're not under that structured court order for first, third, and fifth. And I do advise, if parents can come up with a better agreement, a more equal agreement, then that would be best to present to the courts.
I love it. You are right about that, because like you said, it's that delicate balance, so to speak, how this thing got to work. And like you said, you only can do your part. So especially for those who are listening and you might be struggling with this, I think that you really gave us hope too, Ashley, when you shared with that you and James have realized that this is an extension that, hey, it don't, this ain't the end of the world. Now, is it ideal? No, it's not ideal, but we got to play the hand that dealt, so to speak. So part of that is that we can reconcile. We are still a part of the life right now. We're going to continue to do our part. But even like you said, when we don't have those restraints or we're not ensnared to others' thoughts and opinions, we can really develop this thing. And then also there's clarity. Wherever you have clarity of vision, you have acceleration to the known goal. So when that child, they're able to see it, or they become a young adult, they're able to see like, oh, wait a minute, I've lived a little bit of life now. Like, wait a minute, hey, this is this. I'm even looking at, just for those who are listening to this, just a testament to this. I even seen it with my own personal life, that my mom never did speak. So, but you start noticing, like, wait a minute, you don't ever call me unless I call you. I don't ever see you. So what would I think about a normal friend with that? How would I? So nobody don't have to say anything, but you can start seeing like, oh, if I was their age and this, I'm dealing with this, and I might be 20-something. This is how daddy and mama went through. I got friends who are going through this. So it allows for a lot of stuff to open. So for those entrepreneurs or business owners who are listening to this, of what Ashley and James is sharing with us, and you're dealing with this situation, just be encouraged and whatnot, and continue to fight the good fight of faith, and don't give up. So some of you might stress out or go and do something crazy where you don't even be able to have the time with the kid when they get 18 or whatnot, because you done snap. So you have to be careful, and when it comes to things like that. Or y'all in agreement with some of those things that were shared?
All those things. Come in peace with yourself. I mean, it's the situation, like you said. It's the hand that was dealt to you, so you got to play with it. Period, point blank.
Well, I love that. And so, I'm hearing this, and I see the dynamics where we cover, the genesis of this. We see what you all are doing for as your marriage and how you're staying focused. Also with the kids and the working dynamic, and even some of the things when it comes to dealing with situations far as, the bonus situation and the Brady Bunch situation, so to speak. But I also want to just hear from you all, like, what do you hope the goal to be for this? Because I know you all are always masterminding and whatnot. Is this to continue to build this out to other locations? Is this to keep it where it's mom and pop? Or y'all looking at franchising? What are some of the goals and stuff for y'all for the future for Family First?
That sounds like a businessman question.
I had to go there, James. I had to throw that at hoop, James. I had to do something for the brother.
Woo! So our goals for this, when we first started, it started off as moms and pops, we're just gonna stay here. But we started thinking about bigger cities. Originally, I'm from Dallas, so I always want to expand to the Dallas market. I want to expand to the San Antonio and the Austin market. So 4 major cities in Texas, I actually want to expand this business. So I can't really go outside of Texas because of how the licensing really works. So I do just want to expand to 4 big markets inside of Texas.
Love it. I love it. And you know what? With that big 4, though, the big 4 can carry other whole states. How Texas is. So for those who listening, Texas is a whole nother vibe compared to Delaware or somewhere in Lincoln.
Yes.
So, what I'm saying? But having those big markets, I think is helpful. And I also would just like to hear too from you, Ashley, on your end. I guess what people, if they're not in your area or whatnot, or they see some things being some challenge, what are some signs that people can start looking for if they're wondering if it's something with their spouse, or they're wondering how's the kids dealing with not seeing the other kid, and they might need to do something, because a lot of people, they might be working, they back and forth, a lot on their mind, trying to pay bills or whatever it may be. What are some things that you could give us as some takeaways for those parents or significant others to look for within themselves and others to see about, hey, you know what, we might need to go ahead and look at setting an appointment up to get a little counseling?
Okay, very good. So anytime you see significant changes in your weight, your appetite, your sleep pattern, those are signs that something is going on with your health. And today we're trying to connect that mental health to the physical health and not so separated. So those things are signs that something is going on with your health and you probably need to go to a doctor. And your doctor might tell you to go to a therapist, or you can go to a therapist first and your therapist might tell you this is deeper, you need to go to the doctor. Um, any signs of hate in your heart, anger, outrages. Of course, what's really common today with the kids are thoughts of suicide, cutting themselves, hurting themselves in any way. They may not tell you, they may be saying it at school or acting out. And my child usually doesn't behave like this, but they're getting in trouble at school a lot or they're being disrespectful. That's a cry for attention. And kids will take positive attention or negative attention. It doesn't matter. Most of the time we give them attention when they're being misbehaving. So if you start to see a lot of misbehaving, it's because I need that attention. So that's a clear sign that, hey, something's going on. And sometimes you can talk to them by yourselves first before taking them to a therapist. It's some things you can handle at home. Other things you might need to go to a therapist. If they start to withdraw or isolate, not talk to their friends, give away things, those are both signs that something's changing. I need some help.
Man, I'm telling you, I love what y'all stand for. I had to just say it on air. I mean, this to me, y'all are, what we need to look at because you're real, y'all are transparent, you're authentic, you understand. And for those who listening, this is not about perfection. This is progression, not perfection. So make sure that you understand that. Don't sit there beating yourself up for the rest of your life that you missed a basketball game and you could have did this. But I mean, this is a lot of weight putting on ourselves. Yes, of course, learn from it, but this is not about perfection. It's about progression. So when you learn better, do better. So the tips that you heard here from Ashley and James today, and you know that you can implement it right now to make your situation and your environment at home better, then take that. Or if you need to make extend it and make a phone call or follow the information that's in the show notes to be able to connect, or follow them on social media or whatnot, whatever you need to do, take those steps. That's okay to be healthy. It's just like what she talked about and James talked about earlier, Ashley and James talked about, connected to the physical health. Because you don't just know you haven't been working out and then you're going to go and run the Boston Marathon and you hadn't walked one lap around the house, but you don't just jump from one extreme to the next. So take it in steps, incremental growth or whatnot. Follow the steps that you'll learn here from this particular episode of Market Leader Live with Ashley and James, and then let your next move be your best move. Just continue to make the steps. You might can get up, you can do one lap, then you can get to your little mile or get your 30 minutes in, and then you can progress with it. It's the same with your family. Don't just go in there and tell everybody, hey, we're going to do this. And you do this whole house and you fighting everybody against you. That's not the right way to go with it or whatnot. No. But I definitely want to be respectful of you all's time. I know it's stuff that y'all have to do or whatnot. But once again, please I want y'all to share how they can connect with you again. We'll have that information in the show notes. But then, James, if you could tell us that, and then I want to hear both of you. What are some parting pieces of advice that y'all want to leave with our audience? So, James, could you give the information one more time for us for how they can connect with y'all?
You can reach us by online www.familyfirstcounseling. That's family1stcounseling.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you, James. And Ash, we'll start with you. Parting piece of advice for those who are tuned in.
I would say be self-aware. Pay attention and listen to your body. Your body will tell you if it's hurting. Your body will tell you if things are good. Your body will tell you if the person sitting next to you is not good. So listen to your body and respond. Don't just sit there and like, oh, I know this is hurting. I know something doesn't feel right. Act on it. If it doesn't feel right, get the help you need.
Thank you, Ashley. James, any parting piece of advice, my brother?
Be with yourself. Understand yourself first. You may just need to go to counseling just because. I have a couple friends that just want to go to counseling since we started the business and don't really have a reason, but they just want to know more about themselves. Just kind of how you stated that you got it from a saying from your stepfather. You might not know that until you go to counseling, or you might not know it until it comes out. But part of you is understanding yourself and understanding your mental health.
So are y'all able to meet? I just want to make sure for those who are listening, because we have quite a bit of people in the Houston area that listen to this show. Are y'all able to work with adults too, or is it just kids?
Adults too, everybody.
Okay, then. All right, then. Well, we'll definitely get that. Hey, I'm gonna have to get in that. When I come back to Houston, I'm getting me a session in. I need, I need to get me a session, but I ain't playing off for real because I think that, sometimes you need to, especially with being entrepreneurs or whatnot, you're carrying a lot on you. And so sometimes it's good just to have that room, just to feel free to talk, where it's not just you dealing with, paperwork or contracts, or you're not just, you got to make every decision and all that kind of stuff, or or the team looking at you, or you looking at what the next system is and what's the CRM, you call up with all, it's tax season and all this. So I want to just encourage people, just like what James brought up too. Hey, why don't you just try and reach out to them? Just because. It's not saying anything wrong with you. Don't mean that it's the end of the world, but just go and have a session, and you'll be shocked of like, wow, wait a minute, just like a massage, man,
Yes.
I needed that massage. I didn't even know I needed a massage, but when I got that massage, or if you eat, just like your body, tying it to the body, sometimes you might think you was all right, then you eat, it's like, man, I didn't realize I was that hungry. I've been running all day long. I thought I wasn't even hungry, but now I feel why I was feeling famished or whatnot. So I just want to encourage people out there, especially in our community, please, y'all, don't do it to yourself. You deserve better. Your family deserves better. For those entrepreneurs and business owners who are listening, definitely you all. I know everybody is glorifying the hustle and grind and all that. I'm not saying that you don't need to have a work ethic, but don't grind yourself, just like brakes, grind yourself till you actually tear down your vehicle because you're grinding yourself out. It's okay to get help. Preventive measures. Be proactive. Don't allow for the light to come on the vehicle and the engine overheat before you go and get the oil change or you go check on something. Go ahead and have some preventive measures. So if everything is all right with you, well, it didn't hurt nothing then.
It didn't hurt nothing.
You just even better.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage everyone. But man, I want to thank y'all so much for coming on. It's always a joy and a pleasure to be able to talk to you all. And I know our audience was tremendously blessed and filled with value today. So thank you, Ashley and James, for coming on for another episode of Market Leader Live.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime. Yes, sir. For those who are tuned in, remember that, hey, if you won't change, be the change. Until next time, be blessed and be great.